we recently were successful in subpoenaing Justin Trudeau for a trial in March of this year in London, Ontario. We received some applause for fighting that fight because it's difficult to do, but I also received a lot of backlash from these Twitter trolls who sit on the sidelines and criticize the people who are in the arena, who receive the battle scars of fighting the fights that are difficult. It reminded me of this phrase we used for people back home who are always pushing war. We call them sofa samurais. They were on their sofa saying, let's go to war. They were warriors on their sofa, but they never faced enemy fire, right? And they were happy to send young men and women into danger zones to get killed because it fueled their politics. These Twitter trolls that have come out against me on this subpoena, right? The safety of their computer, they can write, you don't know what you're doing. You know, you got your law degree out of a Cracker Jack box. People ask me why I subpoenaed him for all of the pain, because the client in this particular case doesn't have the money to do what we did. The client was charged with assault with a weapon for allegedly throwing pebbles at the Prime Minister's bus. And the context is, a reporter asked the Prime Minister immediately after, were you hit by anything? And the Prime Minister on video that we have said, I don't know, but doesn't matter. And then he got into the bus. So clearly he didn't think he was hit or knew he was hit by anything. And if that would have been the end of his statement, I'm pretty sure there would have been no charge of assault with a weapon. But when he got onto his bus with his political advisors, who are very Machiavellian, and I actually believe they purposely went to where those protesters were so they could get some footage that emnified the protesters. When he came off the bus, he was interviewed on video. And all of a sudden, now when he was asked, he said, absolutely, I was hit. So what happened in that bus with the advisors? Did they decide that they were going to sacrifice a protester or two in order to achieve a political point? I think they did. That's why his story changed, because generally your first version is the most honest. But he came out with a new one. And why that pisses me on? If that's true, he lied for a political agenda. And I want to get that guy on the stand, and I want to call him out. And I don't care how powerful he is. I don't care how many of his people come after me, because we have a citizen who is charged with assault with a weapon, right? Who might be the victim of a political campaign that's just using it. Can you be assaulted if you didn't know you were assaulted, right? If he wasn't hit with a pebble, is it assault with a weapon? Some of these Twitter knobs said, well, you know, that one guy essentially brought up a Looney Tunes comparison that said, if Wile E. Coyote pushed a big rock off of a cliff, and Roadrunner went by and he missed Roadrunner, right, but was trying to kill him, wouldn't he be guilty of attempted murder? And I'm like, well, I celebrate your legal acumen by being able to relate it to a cartoon. But it's called attempted murder, right? He wasn't charged with attempted assault with a weapon, right? It's assault. It means the assault has to happen, which means you have to speak to the person who the alleged assault happened to. The Crown Attorney in this case said to us specifically, we are not calling the Prime Minister to testify as to what happened, even though he's on video talking about what happened, even though he has two different versions of events. We're not going to call it because we think we can just railroad this guy into a conviction. And I said, no, he's got to call it. That's why I subpoenaed him. Out of his defense counsel, I am subpoenaing the alleged victim. It doesn't happen a lot. Prime Minister's office hired a law firm to try and fight it. We were successful in getting the subpoena, right? That's why I did it. And I respond to those people who say, why did you bother? Why did you do it? It goes, because it matters taking on bullies. That's why I'll sue the Canadian Armed Forces. That's why I'll sue insurance companies with billion-dollar pocketbooks. I'll sue universities. I don't care, because you don't get into this business if you're not willing to fight the good fight for cases that matter to the average Joe on the ground. And I don't have to agree with all of their politics. But for God's sakes, I'm not going to let powerful people get away with BS for their own purposes.